This is Continuum Drag, a podcast where we watch sci-fi, fantasy, and everything in between. This week, Space Precinct, episodes 7 and 8.
Ears, eyes, toenails? What possible use could they have for my toenails?
Where you been, man? Toenail transplants are the latest craze. And yours are kind of cute.
Welcome to Continuum Drag, the podcast from beyond the rim worlds. I'm Luke, here's my co-host Jordan. What's real, Jordan?
Loose lips vaporize spaceships.
It's true. It's true. You got to watch what you say.
Hey, I had a couple other things, little lines I wrote down. Because I know you like, we've been saying, now I can't even remember what it's called. Get tweaked. Get tweaked.
Get tweaked.
We've been saying that around the house. But I like there was a thing they said, a little phrase in this. He was like, get virtual, massive.
There's great slang on this. They really lean in hard. I love when they do that.
It's good. And there was another one. He's like, what a Genghis name. What a Genghis.
When your kids get old enough to start using whatever contemporary slang is, you're just going to be throwing these out at them, and they're going to hate you. They're going to be like, shut up, Dad.
You from the 19th century?
You'll be like, oh, you're so Genghis. And they're like, that's not even real.
That's probably pretty accurate.
Well, Jordan, before we get into this episode this week, I wanted to get into a little bit about the merch around Space Precinct. Because one of the rare shows we do that has merch to it, I always am excited because as a child, I just assumed every show had an amazing amount of merchandise because that's how it felt when I was a child in the 90s. But honestly, most of these shows die so quickly or are so underloved, they rarely actually produce anything of interest, but not Space Precinct.
Well, I think sometimes they think it's going to be a bigger show than it is. And because usually these things have to be produced so many months ahead of time, right? So it's you'll see these toy lines come out for, like we were saying when we watched, what was that show? Deep Space Underwater, SVU. You know what I mean? What's that one called?
Sequest DSV.
Sequest. So Sequest had toys, but kids weren't snapping them off the shelf, you know?
And it at least had 3 seasons.
That's true. But I'm really hoping that this show had puppets at least.
Well, here's what it was. Is apparently there was a small toy manufacturer that exists called Vivid Imaginations in the UK. They had licensed and then released some toys for the Captain Scarlet and Joe 90 resurgence. I think we talked about it earlier that in the late 80s, early 90s, there was a resurgence in interest in Gary Anderson. So the show started getting replayed. People really liked them. They became quite popular. This toy line, they released a bunch of stuff, had some success creating these new toys that people were interested in these old properties with. So it was working well. So they, of course, licensed Space Precinct as it was coming out, because they wanted to, continue the trend with Gary Anderson. And as a result, they created 12 action figures to go with the line as it launched. Two Brogans. So there's Brogan with jacket and Brogan without jacket.
I tell you, if there's one thing distinctive about him, it's him wearing a jacket.
There was Haldane, Castle, Tookie, obviously our lead cops. Then Captain Podley got one, which I think is great. I love it when a bureaucrat gets a toy.
Yeah.
And then there was the support staff in the Space Precinct. Slow-Mo, of course, he's a robot. And Oren and Fredo, two of the desk cops who are just weird aliens. And then, of course, they had to have some random villains. As is the problem with all these shows that are episode of the weeks, which villains do you make? So they made the Cyborg, who came back from the future.
Oh yeah. The guy who was the kid who was burned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you take his mask off and just use burns.
Yeah.
They did a guy named Morgo, who I believe is in the pilot, is not the main bad guy, but is a henchman to the main bad guy. He just is really big.
I don't remember Morgo.
You just have to see him. He's just he's a guy with no neck. He's just gigantic, basically. A weird alien. And finally, they made the Snake.
Oh, okay. Perfect, because that guy would actually look cool.
Yeah, I mean, they picked ones that looked cool. And it's just very funny because, in the continuity of the show, everyone's dead.
You know who doesn't look cool? I can't remember what episode it is. Oh, it's the second one we're going to talk about. The guy who kind of looks like Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, I don't know who that is. We'll get to it, I guess.
He's the guy flying around watching dogs.
That guy. I wrote down Wolfman.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they released a police cruiser, so you could get a cruiser for them to drive around in.
Nice.
And they created a police bike, which is not actually in the show. They just needed something to add to toy line. So apparently the TV show itself was just like, no worries. We'll put a few in the background of some of our episodes. So if you're an eagle-eyed thing watching some of the backgrounds, you can see this police bike just like peppered around to make the toy line more accurate.
Oh, really? You know what they should have made is like, you know, they always would make play sets for stuff. They should do like the Brogan's house.
Brogan's house.
One day. His like boring kitchen with like his little deck, his little fake grass deck and stuff.
I mean, here's the thing. Totally no children, no wife. Where are they in the toy line?
Well, I mean, they've given as much effort as this show has to those characters.
What I also liked is, like, that was just the action figures. They also made a Space Precinct board game called Space Precinct Crime Busters and a card game called Space Precinct Police Cruiser.
Okay, one of those might be fun.
I mean, my secret wish now is to just, like, have someone pay me just to play every single board game tie into a movie or TV show, because I think those are so funny. So my new dream is that. So I was just like, I wrote down Space Precinct. I'm like, that's going on the list.
See, we're not using this podcast to its full advantage. You should be begging people to get it for you and send it to you.
Send it to me. Honestly, I'm going to start a Patreon, and these bonus episodes will just be me playing tie-in video board games to TV shows and movies.
But it should just be, there should just be a video of you silently playing the game.
By myself. Yeah. I'm playing all the roles.
That's right.
Not time lapse, just like real time. You get the full 3 hours of it. I'm reading the instructions. I don't know how this works.
Yeah, there's washroom breaks.
And Jordan, unfortunately, you almost got your wish, because there was one unproduced toy that I was able to find, and they were going to make a puppet, and it was going to be of Zill the pet, the little squeaky pet in the house.
Oh, that's of all the things to do, they picked him?
I guess he's the size of a hand puppet already.
I suppose that's true. I mean, in one of these episodes, I think it's the second one again, the Abraham Lincoln one, he at least gets to swing around a little bit. So you're like, he's kind of animated.
He's squealing a lot in that episode.
Yeah.
But Jordan, if you thought the merchandise for Space Precinct stopped when the show was on the air, you're mistaken.
Oh, did they do any novelizations or anything?
Oh, there's some modern merch that you can buy currently on the Gary Anderson website.
Is that right?
Yeah. So there is a paperback. They made a paperback book out of Space Precinct. Yeah. There is a series of comic book compilations that include like stories from all of his different shows, and so they all include some Space Precinct like standalone comics in there.
Right.
And they have 2 Space Precinct audio dramas you can purchase, so you can continue the adventures of Haldane and Castle and whatever their names are, Brogan.
Yeah, so they're like those audio adventures. I've seen a few of these, but they're essentially like usually full cast like audio
radio
books,
dramas.
right?
I think, yeah, I think
dramas,
that is usually the idea.
I wonder if they got the cast from the TV show to do it. There's no way, right?
I tried to figure that out. I was looking, I couldn't find a cast list to determine one way or the other. I mean, I think it'd be if they're alive. I'm sure they'd do it if the money was okay.
Yeah. I mean, what's Brogan up to? I don't know. I haven't looked at it, but I don't. I doubt he's doing too much.
You just have your cell phone out. You just record it in your home, and then you send it in, and they just edit it together. Like I mean, obviously, why would anyone say no?
It's true.
And I think this is probably better remembered in the UK. So it's probably still like a little bit of like there's probably cons you can go to still. I'm sure there's still some it's still somewhat active in their lives.
Well, I think overall the show is kind of kitschy and sort of fun, and I think probably people remember it in a certain way that's
if you watch it at the right
nostalgic.
Age, it's very nostalgic.
Yeah, but I think watching it as, I don't know, a 40-something-year-old man, I'm like, I don't know, guys. I don't think any of this works.
Hey, it's got that good slang.
That's true. You can't take that away from him.
All right, Jordan, you ready to get going?
Let's do it.
Here's the IMDb summary for Episode 7, Deadline. Several citizens of Demeter City are being murdered, and their vital organs are sold to a physician for transplants. Lieutenant Brogan races against the clock to solve the mystery, unaware that he might end up as one of the donors.
It always seems like at the end of the episode, in this show, it gets personal with Brogan. Doesn't it seem like it? It always seems to tie at the end to like the villain's like, we better go to his home and involve his family in some way.
Yeah, they always find out where he lives at some point.
The security's real bad at the precinct.
Well, this episode opens on a giant floating ad dirigible, which is kind of, I guess, like it's like the Goodyear blimp if it had TVs all over it.
Yeah. It just looks like a missile though, right?
Yeah, it's hard to say. It's like got so many TVs on it. I'm like, it's just like a floating piece of junk in the sky.
Yeah, but it's not just a floating piece of junk in the sky, because what's inside of it, Luke?
Well, that is where organ thieves are setting up their secret lair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was weird, right?
I mean, it's good enough of good a place as any.
Yeah, they got that secret door, the secret trap door thing.
Just open one of the screens up.
That's it.
I do like the screens also look more like curved televisions than flat screens.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Anyway, we begin with a high-speed chase next to this dirigible as our 4 core cops start chasing an unregistered speeder who, as they escape, fire a Class 8 Sun Chariot with a dead body inside at a residential building in an attempt to lose them. This is where the organ thieves escape into the dirigible. And we get on the mission because after they knock the Sun Chariot out of the sky, as they call it, they find a body inside. They're like, uh-oh, this body's missing all its organs.
Yeah, and doesn't Haldane make some sort of like New York deli joke?
Well, he does crash directly into a diner.
Right, and then he makes some joke, and it's like, his character's so weak. He's just such a weak character.
You hate him.
He's like, I'm in a New York deli. I'm like, okay. And he's like, anyways, where's that other cop I can sexually harass?
You did like it, though, when they crashed into the diner and Brogan opened the door and he said, table for 2.
Yeah, that's good.
That you can get on board with.
Yeah, that's right.
So this is the mission for the episode. They're going to solve who is stealing organs into Meter City. But, Jordan, there is, of course, a side quest.
Yeah, for peanut butter.
Brogan's daughter wants peanut butter, and it's hard to get, so Brogan's got to find some peanut butter somewhere.
You know what's funny? This actually could have been a funnier episode if that was...
a runner.
Like, yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, it was like, he has to get this, and then it sends him in some direction, and something happens kind of like that. I don't know, either gets him on a case or gets him into some sort of weird situation. You're like, at least that's interesting. I don't think I've seen it before. But instead, it's like kind of a gag, but like it doesn't really land on anything. It's like, hey, peanut butter's hard to get. And you're like, okay.
They basically use it very briefly. We'll get to it mid-episode, but they just use it as a way to advance the plot for 2 seconds. Otherwise, it doesn't come up really. It's not like a main player. They just mention it off the top, and then like they're like, we'll need this later to get him to go somewhere.
Yeah.
So it's not as much fun as you feel like it could be. But their investigation into the organ harvesting begins at a transplant office. They go there because this place, what they do is when a person donates an organ there, they are given a sun chariot as a gift to send them into the sun as they die, kind of thing. I think is the idea. It's a sort of a funerary rite. But the doctor there is just like, I get all my organs legally. They get shipped in from various planets as they come available. I don't deal with organ harvesters, so I don't know. I don't have any information about that. Of course, this is largely untrue. We'll see very quickly. He's working directly with them. But he does introduce us to a new kind of alien who gets rolled in knitting, a giant blue-headed alien who looks like Megamind or something.
Yeah. It's just a big old blue-headed alien.
Craziest looking alien.
Which is funny because all the aliens in this show, all their heads are pretty big, but this one's even bigger.
The fact that they can still introduce new aliens that are like crazier than the aliens you've already seen is kind of an accomplishment.
You know what's funny though? Why didn't they? And I mean, maybe it just took a while to make some of these masks and these puppets costumes. But wouldn't it be more fun in this precinct if all the aliens were all different as opposed to all those gray-looking hairy ones?
Yeah, my understanding, and I could be wrong about this, is they're kind of the like ET-headed aliens that are kind of gray and squidgy. They live on that planet. I think that's their planet.
Okay, that makes more sense. But even still, like, just visually for the audience, you know, it's like, hey, there's 14 of those gray-headed guys over there. I'm
I
like,
mean, here's the thing: is I'm sure
You
they're
know?
making these aliens episode to episode as they came along. Maybe in the second season we'd get a little more variation in aliens who work at the precinct now that they've built all the costumes.
That's fair. That's fair.
And give them some credit. Those gray squidgy aliens, they have a lot of different variations on facial hair.
Yeah, one's got a mustache.
Sometimes they got a sometimes they got a goatee.
Sometimes they're prematurely balding.
What they do on this show with hair, I think, is unprecedented. Even for Star Trek, I'm like, the variation they give to the individual aliens just in terms of hairstyles, I'm just like, I've never seen this in a science fiction show in my life. There's so much variation. People are balding. People have grown craziest mustaches you've ever seen. I've never seen this in an aliens on a TV show before. They're all so individualized. It's insane.
You are right, though. It's funny. Instead of going like, hey, what if we make one blue and one purple? They're like, just, I don't know, give the guy a long mustache.
It is crazy. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. Anyway, we'll get back to the episode. It transitions to the mean streets of Demeter City. We kind of just push into the streets. I kind of like this shot. It's the first time we've seen it during the day, just like the streets as they activate. There's an urchin. He's stealing oranges from an apple cart.
Yeah.
He's running around. He's working with another one of those blue-headed Megamind aliens, and they're pulling a scam on a fancy guy in a car. One of these aliens with a huge handlebar mustache is going by, and they're doing some insurance fraud on him.
Yeah. Two things. One, we find out that the blue-headed guys have extra hands.
Yeah, they can reach out and they steal your wallet.
Yeah.
So you don't know that extra hands there.
Yeah, they got 4 hands, 2 legs. And the other thing was, remember early in the season, Brogan's kid, Jimmy, or whatever his name is, he was like, hey, I want to go down to the city. And he's like, you can't go down there. It's really bad. And they're worried about his influences and stuff. Now we get to see what the city looks like. What did you think? Was it as dangerous looking as you thought?
I mean, it looks like 18th century London, so yes.
With a lot of people that look like they're from like Montreal.
Definitely some punks. A lot of punks kicking around.
That's just a shout out to anyone from Montreal.
This is what you envision Montreal has all the time.
Well, anytime I've been to Montreal, I'm always just like, what's happening here?
But yes, the urchin is involved in this grift, and as they're grifting this man, a different group of people, the organ harvesters, come up with a stick with, I guess, a scanner on the end of it. It looks like a cane, but it's got a little scanner they can stick into your underside, I guess, and scan your DNA. And they're like, hey, this blue-headed guy has just the organs that other blue-headed guy needs back at the organ transplant place.
It actually seemed almost too powerful. It seemed like they could just walk up to anyone and get all their information quite easily. Like, I know it's like a bit of they just need it to happen that way, but it was like, this is way too powerful a tool for these people to have.
It's very non-invasive. You would never know it happened.
Yeah, you're just walking by and they're like, they got a good liver or whatever.
They abduct him, take him back to the dirigible, harvest those organs, and then Bob's your uncle? What's that phrase?
Yeah, Bob's your uncle.
Okay, great. Brogan, meanwhile, he's a little suspicious of that doctor they visited, so he goes down to the old customs office to see if that organ they're importing from the mining accident is real. It's not clear. They do a whole scene where they go there, and I'm not clear what they learned from going there. It didn't seem to be anything.
To be fair, that's almost always what happens, though. They go into these things, and either not much information is gained or a shootout happens. Those are the two things that can happen when they go investigate anything.
But for some reason, it gets them to their next stage. It's like they don't get what they need. So they're like, what if we dress Detective Castle up real sultry? I didn't even recognize it was her. I was like watching, like, who is this character? I don't know who this is.
But I'll say, I also didn't recognize her, but they have her like kind of vamping it up. But later on, when the chief yells at them for it, I thought it was pretty funny.
It was pretty funny. She's going to the doctor's office, posing as a journalist to do a profile on him. But while she's doing the profile, she starts accusing him of illegal organs and spooks him. I was like, I'm not sure. When they get back to the precinct, Captain Podley, as you said, is pissed at them. And they explain, it's like, listen, we're just trying to spook him to get the gears rolling on this investigation. He's just like, this is entrapment. His entire investigation is now completely like botched. It's never going to hold up in court now because of what you've done. And they're just like, calm down, Podley.
There's a couple things I want to say there. One, I really like that You're right that they do. The chief is like, this is entrapment, and I like using a term like that in a kid show where like you just think there's like some 8-year-old watching the show and he's like, ah, that's definitely police entrapment there.
You gotta learn about it somewhere.
Yeah, that amused me. And the second thing is, this is something we've seen a few times in this show, and it happens in this episode, and it'll happen in the next episode, which is one of the cops go undercover, but they're going undercover in a place where they're not known, so you don't need to wear like a whole getup. And like in this episode, they send Castle and they dress her all up, and I'm like, but why? She could just be like, she doesn't have to be in her police uniform, obviously, but she could just be in like her normal everyday attire.
Well, they wanted to be a bit of a femme fatale to seduce the gentleman.
Okay, but then in the next episode, we
kids love that.
Brogan goes the next episode, and they put glasses on him for some reason. I'm like, they don't know you. You don't need to put glasses on.
Yeah,
Anyway.
it is very silly. Also, as I was watching this, I'm just like, they're going undercover and doing it. These are beat cops. Like, these aren't
it's true.
detectives. These are
It's true.
truly just beat cops who drive around in a car and respond to calls. They should not be doing any investigating.
Yeah, the chief should be. He's like, what are you guys doing? You're just there. You're just supposed to be giving tickets.
We call you from dispatch and tell you where to go. You don't make decisions. Anyway, Brogan then goes to the only witness so far in the investigation, the urchin who saw the blue-headed guy get abducted by the Arvin harvesters. And they have a very brief conversation about peanut butter. And
That's right, yeah.
This is where the peanut butter comes back, and the urchin's just like, oh, I know a diner that sometimes gets peanut butter. Why don't you go there and see if they have peanut butter? Because I don't have any information on the case. And he's like, Brogan's like, well, I'm at a dead end, so I might as well get that peanut butter. He goes to the diner, and in the diner just happen to be the organ harvesters who scan Brogan. They're like, hey, this guy has organs we need.
That was odd, right? I wasn't sure if there was another connection I was missing, but that's just what it was, right? They're
Just
like, we need
random
him to
coincidence.
Yeah.
And also, there was no peanut butter at this diner. So what they do is he goes home, and then the bad guys drop by his house, and they're like, hey, we're from that diner. We found you some peanut butter. So when he opens the door, they just like chloroform him and drag him away. All this is being done while his wife is nude hot tubbing in the backyard.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned this, because in 2 times in this episode, they imply that Brogan and his wife are trying to have sex, but stuff just keeps getting in the way.
I mean, that's every episode.
Again, wild for a kid show.
Every episode, Brogan finds a reason not to. Brogan finds a reason not to every episode.
He's like, I'm busy. I'm busy getting peanut butter. I told you this.
And here's the thing. I know we've already mentioned the next episode. We're talking about both these episodes so much. She gets nude in the next episode, too. There's her in the shower in the next episode.
That's
I don't know
right.
what's going on. She's just now nude all the time. The wife and mother are at the house. And it's so funny because her kids are home while she's hot tubbing nude. So they're just watching TV in the other room. And like, I think Brogan's like, what about the kids? What are you doing? They're in the next room. She's like, they're playing video games. They won't notice me nude. I was like, okay.
Yeah. I think they don't know what to do with the family
You think?
as a whole. And well, I know they don't, but and specifically her, because they obviously want to show like he has a family life, but it's like they don't know what to do with the wife. So like, I guess she's really horny,
Apparently.
just waiting for him to come home.
This poor actress, I mean, they
I
give
know.
her so little to do. And like the later in the episodes it gets, the more it just becomes her just like at home being like, Brogan, you're home. Sex? And Brogan, I gotta go to work. Bye.
It's pretty much how it is. It's pretty funny.
She's got to open that relationship up. There's no other way. Anyway, the organ thieves are about to remove Brogan's organs when the doc calls them, and he's just like, hey, your automatic organ removing machine doesn't do as good a job as I can do with my hands. I want to ensure quality on these organs, so I'm going to head right down there. And they're like, all right, we'll wait for you. Cut to, turns out the cops are at his office, and they've already arranged with the doctor to help them rescue Brogan.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. They had no evidence that the doctor was involved, so I'm not sure how this all like came together. But
Earlier in the episode, we saw that the doctor was using his hands, though, right? But they were over like a modern surgical instrument, right?
yeah.
So couldn't he have done that? Like, why did he have to? I still don't understand why he had to go there. Couldn't he have done that remotely?
No, it's just an excuse to get him there, so he can show the cops where their dirigible is.
Right. Okay.
That's all. There's no reason. The organ harvesters agreeing to do it. I was like, what are you guys doing? Don't bring him there. But they pick him up. The organ harvesters pick him up at the office. He can't drive himself. Drive him to the dirigible. Castle, Haldane, and Tookie follow them. They find the dirigible, but for some reason they can't figure out how to get inside of it. So a lot of this is just like them outside the dirigible being like, how do we get inside? Inside, the doctor is there. He's standing over Brogan's body. He sees that Brogan has like come to from the anesthesia, but Brogan like plays dead. And then basically the doc double crosses the Arvin Harvesters by like shooting them, like hitting them with the surgery machine. And Brogan gets up and they get in a fight. The doctor gets shot in the heart and dies. One of the thieves jump in a car and escape. So Brogan runs to the exit and they pick him up in the other cop car. And we get like a big like chase sequence.
Yeah.
And then I don't know how this happened. They're chasing one of the organ harvesters in his car. He somehow just does a U-turn and then just flies directly back at the dirigible he was on, where his buddy is like standing in a window being like, oh no! Hits the dirigible, massive explosion, probably thousands of casualties in Demeter City based on the size of that explosion. But also, I guess their bad police work doesn't matter because everyone involved in the case is now dead, so it doesn't have to go to trial.
I never thought of that. That is a good way to win your case.
That's it. They've solved the day, and we get a little denouement where the urchin drops by the precinct, and he's like, hey, Brogan, I found some peanut butter for your daughter.
Yeah. And then they have a peanut butter sandwich.
And then Brogan's like, why don't you come by for a peanut butter sandwich, urchin? And then go back to living on the streets. I don't want you in my house too long.
Yeah. Well, he already adopted that other girl at one point, right?
I legitimately thought he was going to adopt another child.
Yeah. So anyways, it all worked out because his daughter got peanut butter.
Yeah, it all worked out in the end. He kept his organs and his daughter got peanut butter.
What a odd plot to have had for, again, what I will call a kid's show. Organ donors.
Organ donors.
Illegal organ donor trade.
Listen, let's get to the next one because I actually think this has the most violent scene I've ever seen in a children's show.
Seek and destroy.
Here's the IMDb summary for episode 8, Seek and Destroy.
It's like you've been working pretty hard on this.
Yeah, part of the contest is to write a poem.
Dumb.
It's not dumb.
Yeah, well, prove it.
My brother Matt tells me I can't write. Get tweaked, he says, and we have a fight. I say, get tweaked yourself, gnarled up in a furrow. I won't be jacked till a Demeter dog is hanging in our burrow. Thrash.
Orbital.
When the importation of Earth dogs is permitted, owning a dog becomes all the rage in Demeter City until it's discovered that an alien race is injecting the canines with a serum that turns them into deadly killers.
Okay, I have one question for you. So, as you said, the plot of this is there aren't any dogs on the city because there's a disease that they catch, right? If they're on,
it's not just any disease. We saw this disease in the first episode. Tuki got this disease.
Is that right?
Yeah. Cylon fever.
I think it's Cylon fever. And so you can't have dogs. But so they're like, oh, they've come up with a new vaccine or whatever.
Yes.
So the dogs can be on the planet, and everyone's like, yeah, we want to get dogs. But everyone's just getting golden retrievers, right?
Yeah, they just, it's the only acting dog they could get.
It's because at one point I thought that was going to actually be a thing, and I was like, oh no, they only start one breed at a time.
Just one breed at a time. That's it.
Yeah.
I think this is definitely a production issue.
Right. Okay.
We've got a breeder of golden retrievers. Get them.
Well, they got that puppet you're going to see later on. They're only building one golden retriever puppet.
That's true. I mean, if you're going to get a dog, you get a golden retriever. It's the best kind of dog.
They're everyone's friend.
What kind of dog are you going to get your kids?
It's a good question. It probably won't be a golden retriever because of the hair, but they're
you
lovely dogs. But
you want something hairless, like a pit bull.
A hairless golden retriever. Do they have those?
Hairless golden retriever, perfect. Yeah. You'll shave it every week.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, this one opens on one of those. It's what it is. Creon alien. She has a very Mr. Spock haircut, and she gets mauled to death by what we'll later come to learn is her dog. But it's shot in a way where it's from the dog's point of view, so you're not quite sure what mauled her to death. But they explain it shortly. Brogan and Haldane are, of course, put on the case. It's brutal. She's been ripped to shreds. Her dog, its head has exploded.
Is that what they said?
They go look at it. Its head has exploded just with blood. And if that isn't enough, someone is investigating the investigators. Because floating above them is either the Wolfman or, as you said, Abraham Lincoln. I don't think you know what Abraham Lincoln looks like is my question.
Well, at first, we're watching it, and Jamie says to me, he looks like that actor. And I said, who? She goes, Kevin Kline. And I went, what? This isn't what Kevin Kline looks like. And then we realized what she really meant was Gary Oldman in Dracula. Why it was Kevin Kline, I don't know.
Closer.
It's closer. But I kept writing Abraham Lincoln. I thought he kind of had that sort of facial hair.
I mean, Jordan, I would love to put a side-by-side comparison of Abraham Lincoln and this man and just see how close you are. I thought he looked like a Bela Lugosi in Wolfman makeup or something.
Yeah, he sort of has some sort of prosthetic, like a big fake nose or something, and then they've given him like, I don't know,
So much facial hair.
Yeah, like Victorian sideburns.
And he has like teeth, I think, too. I think he's like teeth implants.
Yeah. Which, you know what's weird? Have we seen this in the show? Because there's been a lot of puppets and like people with big puppet heads. But have they done like prosthetics like this for aliens before?
This is, I think, one of the first just like humanoid-looking aliens.
Right. That's a good way of saying it. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's the first humanoid one.
This is more in the Star Trek vein of like, they're basically humans. We just slap some prosthetics on them.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll say this. It allows for a lot more of facial expressions.
Absolutely. Anyway, the murder happened, the dog murder happened on Brogan's orbiting space suburb. So he and his wife got to get on a phone and gossip about it.
That's right. Is this when what do they call the alien? They're Deanna Troi. What's that alien?
Oh, she's there too. She's like scanning people's brains to see if they know anything.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. Did we see this was her ability before? Because every scene with her so far has been her behind a glass thing, and she's like, I can't read them. And this time, she can read them to the point where she can get a sketch artist to do an exact, or the computer, whatever it is, doing an exact drawing of the person based on what's in their memory.
All right. Well, first of all, that's a different person.
Oh, is it? I thought it was the same person.
No, that's a different sketch artist of that alien race. And yes, he is able to, if you picture the suspect in your mind, he can just like put his hand on a computer tablet and he'll just like draw a representation of what you're thinking about.
Now, that person's much more useful than whatever her name is.
He specialized in school.
Yeah, it's better. It's better than she's like, I just can't get anything. I'm like, why do we have you here?
No, but what I wanted to go back to is Brogan and his wife gossiping about the murder in their suburb because
that's right.
They can't stay on the phone because their damn kids won't stop fighting.
That's right. Yeah.
So his wife goes in there and he's just like, will you two shut up and just watch some TV? And she turns on the TV and there is a commercial or infomercial for this dog company that's selling dogs because they invented a way to stop them from getting cryon fever. And at the end of the commercial, it's like, we're holding a poetry contest. If you write the best poem, you'll get a dog.
Yeah.
And his daughter writes the most slang-filled poem you've ever heard in your life.
It's one of those things where you're like, so I guess she's going to win? I guess she's going to win a poem?
Well, it gives her something to do this episode.
It's true.
But this is sort of what, like, that's just how it's affecting the family. It's like we're going to see throughout the episode, the daughter just wants a dog. And they're just like, what about Zill, the other pet you have? And she's like, boring. I hate that pet.
Hey, let me ask you, who's more useless of the two kids in this show, the daughter or the son?
I mean, it's a pretty neck and neck race.
You got to get rid of them. One of them's going to die from Cylon fever or whatever. Who's it going to be?
I will say this. They give the son more to do. The daughter, if she gets an episode, she's had 2 episodes. She hasn't had much time. The last 2 episodes, she'll get something to do. And all it is like, I want peanut butter, I want dog. That's the entire episode.
Yeah. I think you're probably right. They probably could lose the daughter and you wouldn't know.
Anyway, we'll get back to the investigation. This is what you're talking about. They interview the dead woman's boss. He's able to pull up this sketch artist in his mind, and they see that the suspect is been hanging around their office, is the Wolfman / Abraham Lincoln, and he's a species that no one has ever seen before.
Yeah, that's weird, right?
You think that would stand out more to you if you're like, there's a weird guy who's hanging around my office. I've never seen whatever he is before.
But this is the second time in the show because remember that homeless lady in that other episode, and it was like played for laughs, and they find out she's like the queen of another alien race they've never seen before. I'm like, so they're just like constantly coming into contact with alien species they've never met before. That's something.
There's a lot of aliens in the Rim worlds, my friend.
I guess, yeah.
Anyway, the boss sort of gives him this information. He goes home, is also promptly murdered by his dog.
Yeah. Do they say at this point though? Do they figure out what kind of alien it is, or is it later on when they realize
They
what
learn. They learn pretty soon because what happens is after the guy's murdered, they get a tip because the Wolfman is so unusual. Someone spots one of the informants they know, spots him, calls in a tip to Brogan. They get in a high-speed chase through the subways. Slightly different place for a high-speed chase this time. Mm-hmm. They lose him, but the Wolfman is able to tap into the police comms. He's got like really high-tech technology, and he explains that he's innocent. It wasn't him who did it. And so they start looking into the Wolfman. Apparently his species is called the Oren. They're from a distant military or a distant rim world that the military, I'm not sure who the military of, I guess Earth's military or whatever the like allegiance of planets is on in this show. Their military knows that the planet he's from is in a civil war, which is actually turns out to not be true later. There seems to be this undercurrent that the military is covering up something that's happening in the rim worlds, and I just don't know why they bothered to do this.
Is that right? I didn't catch that.
Well,
I thought it was a civil war.
No, well, what happens is the Wolfman then catches up with Brogan, abducts him because he's like, I need your help, Brogan, because I know I can trust you because you would have tried to kill me when you had the chance, and I'm on a mission, and like and I can't trust anyone. And he's just like, my planet isn't under a civil war. What has happened is there's another race of people from beyond the rim worlds who attack and raid planets and destroy them. He's seeking revenge for their attack on his planet, that's why his planet's been destroyed. So the military said it was civil war, but it's not. It was because these raiders came. And he found out through some communications that Demeter is the next planet they're going to attack.
See, I thought the two species were from that planet, and they both were, and they just were having a civil war. I didn't realize they had come from a different planet.
Yeah, he says they're like raiders from beyond the rim worlds. So he's now trying to figure out who the collaborators are based on the communications he intercepted. And 2 of them are dead, and there's only a third that could potentially be alive right now. So they track down the third guy, and they start following him in his car. And this is the scene you referred to earlier. It's a man with a mustache, a weird alien, a Creon with a mustache, driving with a golden retriever in the back seat. The golden retriever becomes a pretty decent golden retriever puppet, and it proceeds to maul him to death with a lot of blood for a children's show.
Yeah. And the puppet, like, it doesn't have a lot of movement, but they use it as effective as one could, because it's like a snarling sort of looking dog.
A lot of his camera's really close up. It's really Imagine showing this to a child. They would never you'd never trust a dog.
No, you never pet one anyway.
Like it is, I was like, this is just traumatic. Like, this dog is destroying this man. There's blood everywhere. I was like, what is going on?
Hey, Luke, let me stop you right here, though. So let me, and you can answer this for me. So, Wolfman Jack, who's come from this Orid guy or whatever.
Wolfman Abe, please.
Yeah, Wolfman Abe. That's funny. Has come. They've done this. This other alien race has done this exact thing to his planet in the exact same way, right?
Yes.
And so, not a big surprise because we've seen it. It's clearly the dogs is how they're infiltrating and taking over. So, but at no point does he say, "Hey guys, this is all the big scam. These dogs." Like, I know he says like, "No one would believe me because of I'm from this alien stuff," but he still doesn't even. He doesn't come out and just say it's the dogs. They're using the dogs.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know it's the dogs.
He doesn't?
No.
So he sees like 3 dogs attacks and he can't put that together?
He can't put it together. No. Here's the thing. He says what it is they come in and they like have conspirators that settle on the planet and slowly destabilize the society until it's ready to collapse, and then they invade. This particular time, they're doing it via these dogs. But I'll tell you what, this guy can't piece it together. He's just showing up at these places, I guess, hoping he'll talk to the people, and he just gets there and they're dead already.
Right. See, I thought it was that. I thought he was trying to like gather evidence to go like, hey, look, see all these dog attacks? This is what happened on my planet. The same thing's happening here. Thus, you guys should do something about it.
You think their planet had dogs? You think dogs are universally true?
Well, that's why I was like, is that just what this? That was my point. Like, this is the stupidest thing ever. They just go into every planet and going, hey, don't you guys just love dogs?
That would be very funny. No, I think the idea is more is a larger conspiracy and less about dogs.
Right.
That is very funny, though.
They adjust per planet is what you're saying, because I thought
all dog-based infiltration.
Yes, all dog-based attacks. That's what I thought, yeah.
Anyway, with the last conspirator dead, Wolfman doesn't know what to do, but Brogan's like, hey, listen, it's not over yet. I promise to look into it for you. And, of course, he immediately finds a connection between all the dead people by having slow-mo, like, cross-reference their backgrounds. He's like, they all belong to the board of Demeter Dogs, Inc. So this is where Brogan goes undercover by putting on a fancy pair of glasses to pretend he wants to buy a dog.
By the way, and remember I said earlier, it's funny to me that they all, like, they put on disguises because no one knows who they are anyways. He puts on a pair of glasses and he's like, I'm not a police officer, that's for sure. And immediately there's like a guy watching a screen. He's like, hey, it's that cop.
Well, that's what's so funny. He walks in and like it's just scanned by the security system there. And then it just like pulls up his ID. It's like, it's a cop. I'm like, yeah, wouldn't that be true most places you go?
It was so funny.
This is why he's just a beat cop, Jordan. He should not be doing any investigations.
Exactly, yeah. And Castle's in the car. She's putting on like a slinky number. She's like, guys, just tell me when to go in.
Anyway, the conspirators at the dog store are like, we got to do something about this cop. I know. I saw his daughter submitted a poem to our contest. Let's give her a murder dog.
Yeah. They I'll tell you, they did their research. They're like, we got to find a way to get to Brogan. Poems.
This guy, because they basically all the conspirators, I think except for one, are from like the normal races we're used to. They're just like, I guess, been lulled into the conspiracy via money or something. I don't know what. The guy they have is a Creon with the like eyes that are like a hammerhead shark on either side of his head, but he's wearing glass bottle glasses. What's the term I'm looking for? Like really thick, fat glasses that really magnify his eyes. So he looks insane. And he delivers a dog to the Brogan household. And he's just like, be sure to keep this a secret from your dad till he gets home. And they're like, that sounds like a good idea. And I'm like, this is the creepiest man just showed up and you're like going to take his advice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got a free dog.
Anyway, I only bring up them dropping off the dog because I want to talk about some slang they use here in that the daughter names the dog Sophie and the son walks in and he's just like, Sophie is a Genghis name. You need to label her something resin. Like headbanger.
Yeah, the Genghis name I caught.
Genghis for something that's whack is good, and then resin for something that's cool is also good.
Yeah, resin.
Can
we change it to what's real to what's resin?
What's resin? Anyway, while Brogan was at the dog shop earlier, he managed to get I don't know how he got this sample of the vaccine. I don't know how he stole this sample. He stole a sample of the dog vaccine. They test it. They find out it's a chemical that triggers an exploding microchip in the dog's head to make them kill before the microchip explodes their brains to stop them from killing, basically. And they're like, I know what we got to do. Let's send Wolfman to sneak into Demeter Dog's hard quarters to use an 8-inch floppy disk to copy their hard drive.
That's right.
Then when the bad guys catch him, we'll catch them because it was all a sting operation we're doing.
Yeah, the sting operation was really bad. It's like, he's going to be on a computer. They're going to like, hey, we caught you. Then the cops are like, no, we caught you. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, the way it's shot, it's like the Wolfman is doing this on his own. He's broken in at night. He's using floppy disks to download data. Then the bad guys catch him and they're like, oh no, they caught Wolfman. And then all the cops rush in like, no, joke's on you. This was all our plan.
Yeah, they should have crossed each other in the hallway.
And it's really funny because they've caught them. They're like, we've got you. And then one of the angels is like, well, I've got this remote control. I'm just going to push it. It turns on the murder dog that's going to kill your family. Yeah.
And they kind of play a little fast with the rules of these murder dogs.
Yeah, the other one's murdered immediately. This dog takes its sweet time.
Well, first he just like growls at her and stuff for a while. And she's like, hey, stop growling. I'm like, sure didn't help that lady at the beginning.
It's so funny, too, that he pushes it and Brogan's like, oh, no, my family. And he just gets in his car and drives toward the house. I was just like, no, man, like, you're not going to make it in time. You've got to do something about that remote control that turns on and off the signal.
Yeah. Or I like call someone else. Be like, hey, I'm going to try to deal with the signal while you guys get to the house. He
tried to call, but his wife was too nude in the shower.
That's true.
But what we see him, he's racing back. They're in a car. They're driving toward the house. He's like, oh, no, we're going to make it in time. We're like, if this were like other murder dogs, your family would be dead by now. It's been like 5 minutes. And as he's driving, he's like, give me that remote control from the back seat. And he just smashes it to bits. I'm like, yeah, just should have done that square one. And they get home and he's just like, is everyone alive? And they're like, yeah, Dad, everything's fine. I'm like, there's no tension here.
Yeah, the dog just growled a little bit. That's it. And she's like, the dog's fine.
It was just so funny. I'm just like, just turn it off. And then, like, that's their solution. They just turn it off. I'm like, but they needed, like, a race at the end. And it was like, it didn't really make sense. They also needed to show his wife nude in the shower. So they had to squeeze that in somewhere.
You're saying it as if there's, like, full frontal nudity or whatever. They just imply it.
It's a quick shot over the top, and you see her hair, not even wet. It's just, like, steam coming out.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, there's a denouement. The police now have caught dozens. There's dozens of spies, apparently. They've caught them all. There's so many of them. And then they get word that completely off screen, unrelated to the investigation, like it has nothing to do with what's happening in the show, the military has completely obliterated the alien race. It's done a genocide on them. That evil alien raider race has been destroyed. Unrelated, like what they've done in this episode has no relation to the military finding them, stopping them, ending it. So if you're worried this was going to be a runner, that this like weird raider race was out there, don't worry. It's not a runner. It's not going to be a recurring thing. The military has killed them all. And the Wolfman's just like, well, thanks. I guess I'll go home and rebuild my society. And I'm like, okay. And then the daughter and the wife drop by, and the daughter's crying because she has to send her dog back to Earth because they don't have a cure for cryon fever. I'm like, what?
Yeah, and he's like, we got to send her, and she's like, she's like, I'm upset, and then it's just then them like looking at each other, the parents being like, well,
and
kids
gives her
get
a hug.
upset.
Gives her a hug.
Yeah,
he's a good
that's
dad.
it. Yeah, it was a weird ending.
It was a weird ending. Weird ending. I mean, wraps it up real neatly.
What it should have been is what's her pet's name?
Zill
Should have eaten the dog. They come home, they're like, oh, that's why we can't have dogs.
Here's the thing. We didn't talk about this, but when the dog gets dropped off, Zill freaks out. And every time we cut back, Zill's very worried about this dog. Zill can sense it's wrong. It has no bearing. No one listens to Zill. Zill does nothing about it. I thought Zill was going to like be the thing that saved the day. But it's
you're right.
Nothing happened. It's just like every time they cut to Zill, it's freaking out. And they're like, shut up, Zill.
You're right. I didn't think about that. It's funny.
Like the implication is Zill will be the one that saves the day. But they're like, nah. Brogan's got to save the day.
Yeah. Well, he did put on those fake glasses.
He did put on those fake glasses. He looked good in those glasses. I'm not going to lie. He looked as sultry. They were slutty little glasses.
Let me ask you, Luke, we've watched now. That's our 8th episode. Mm-hmm. Please tell me we're checking the escape pod on this show.
No, we're staying.
Oh, we're staying?
Jordan, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Here's something I noticed in these last 2 episodes. So the first one is called Deadline, and the second one is called Seek and Destroy.
Yeah.
How are those titles related to the episodes? Deadline is about organ harvesters, and Seek and Destroy is about a dog farm.
Yeah, it's true, right? Seek and destroy about dogs. I guess the dogs are seeking and destroying people.
I think that's the one you can make the most tenuous connection to, but I don't know what Deadline has to do with the organ harvesting. I'm realizing these titles have no connection to the episodes. They're just like grab bag of titles that they slap on them.
We'll have to go through those. I haven't really paid attention.
It just caught me this episode. I'm just like, wait, what does Deadline or Seek and Destroy really have to do with any of these episodes?
Well, I guess they had a real deadline on those organs.
They will expire at some point.
Yeah.
All right, Jordan. I know you want to see if we're leaving this show.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
please.
It's such a good show.
No, it's not.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Let's talk about Deadline, Jordan. What do you want to give Deadline, the Organ Harvesters episode?
3 to 10.
3 out of 10.
Yeah. It's so dumb.
I mean, listen, it doesn't work as a show. I still do love the blue-headed aliens show up. I'm just like, these are great. The grift on the streets of Demeter City where the kid throws himself in front of a car so the giant mustached alien can get out. I'm just like, what? It's crazy. Everything that happens on the show is crazy. I'm just going to give it a 5 because I think it's like not a good plot. But I love watching it work. I just love watching the crazy aliens pop up. I can't get enough of it.
It could just be a camera just watching aliens walk by. It's just as interesting.
All right, what about Seek and Destroy, Killer Dogs?
I'm going to give this one a 4 to 10. One better because I really like that puppet of the dog.
Yeah, that was great. Tearing apart another mustachioed alien.
But like their episodes are just so dumb. They're so dumb.
I mean, listen, the plots don't make a lot of sense, but man, oh man, those aliens. Wolfman Abe, loved him. I was obsessed. There was like, this is the first one they've ever done much like world canon building for the rest of the world, and it didn't make any sense. Like, there's rim worlds, there's alien races from beyond the rim worlds. The military is hiding things from us and like exterminating races. I'm like, I don't know what's happening, and it's not the plot of this episode, and the characters are not curious about it. I'm just gonna go another straight down the middle 5, I think.
Yeah, well, fair. We're not actually that far off.
We're not that far off. Here's the thing. I don't disagree with you. The episodes themselves aren't well written, don't make a ton of sense, but the production value, the slang, all of that really tickles me. It really tickles me.
No, and we've said this about a lot of shows we've watched, but this is one of these shows where if you watch just a little quick clip of it, you'd be like, ha, that's funny. That's a funny little show. But watching a full episode of it, oof, it's a meal.
Yeah, it's one of these things where I think it's not well executed, but it has aspirations, and I think having aspirations can help me along quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a good argument.
But you're right. The family stuff just does not work. It's really hard to go hang out with the family. They've stopped doing it. In the last episode, their families are barely in the episodes. Just the contractually obligated amount.
I hope in the next episode, it's just every time they go back, it's at least one of the family members having a shower because they just don't know what to do with them.
Well, your turn to have a shower.
Brogan's like, stop using all the water. I need to use the phone. They're like, what?
Those are connected in our world now. The water shower and the phone, they work in the same circuit. All right, Jordan, let's open up the Continuum Drag computer. I'll see where we are right now. All right, Jordan. I punched it into the computer. Continuum Drag computer. I got it. I said the words. It's not a tongue twister, and I still couldn't say it. It's because I'm so shocked by this series. It is coming in at 4.88.
Yes.
So we're taking the escape pod.
Yeah.
Next episode, we'll be back to finish off the series. Jordan, I have bad news. It's a 2-part ending.
No, I saw that. It's a 2-parter. That's fine. That's fine. You know what? It's going to wrap up everything. It's going to explain all the mysteries.
I'm hoping it's a
loose
huge
threads,
cliffhanger. I want it to be a huge cliffhanger.
At the end, another Brogan walks through the door, and he's like, "What?
That Brogan doesn't have a jacket on."
That would be really good.
I'm looking forward to it. We'll be back. We'll finish off Space Precinct. It's fine. And now's the right time, I think. If people are dying for more Space Precinct, we've always got bonus episodes for charity. They can send us back. What would you rather, Space Precinct or Forever Night?
Oh, I don't know. That's a really hard question. It's really hard. Right now, I would say Forever Night because it's been a while. But probably I don't know.
Well, you heard it. You heard it here first, everybody.
No, please no.
Well, you can reach us if you want to talk to us at continuumdrag@gmail.com. And, of course, on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and Blue Sky. We will have clips from these episodes. You can find us at Continuum Drag at those places. As always, Space Precinct, lots of cool clips. You'll see weird aliens, mustaches, dog attacks. You'll get it all. Yeah.
And then you can see who you think the Wolfman Abe looks like.
Oh, yeah, right. Maybe we'll put that up. And that wraps it up for the episode. So, listener, thank you for joining us. And Jordan, see you on the next one.
See you then.
Can't get enough Continuum Drag? Commission a bonus episode for charity.
Want us to watch an episode we missed after using the escape pod or during a best of run? No problem.
Is there an episode of a series we've never watched or a TV movie you want us to cover? You got it.
Wish we'd comment on your favorite movie, content, or other weird media? Sure, why not?
All you have to do is make a donation to one of the charities selected by past guests on our website.
We suggest a donation of $50 per television hour of content we're watching, but everyone's means are different, so give what you can.
Get all the details about bonus episodes for charity on our website, continuumdrag.podbean.com, or follow the links in our social media profiles.
Continuum Drag is recorded in Ontario, Canada, and Seoul, South Korea. Theme music by James Rick Seidler. Produced by Jordan Dullock and Luke Black. Special thanks to Aaron Hughes.